Hey, Kim, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
This is not the stairway to heaven. Is that plumb? There's old asbestos flooring. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
This.
Just kidding. As the water comes out, it goes down, it comes out, it goes down. Do you suppose this is up to code?
I.
To behold the insidious power of water. Let's call this hell. It's just bloody awful, is what it is. Let's leave the abomination and let's go to some place that kind of approximates what they were actually shooting for when they built this place.
Okay.
Here's the sanctuary, the church. Now, you can look at the flaws in it, but I like to come in here and just get recharged looking at how pretty it is. It's not pristine, but the windows are absolutely gorgeous. And none of these have broken. Like we saw in the community center, some of the windows have cracked and broken and the wood is gone.
Right.
But these windows are all in really great shape.
Well, you can see that when we're talking about restoring these windows, which was done over at the Center for the Arts, the heat, when they put that plastic, begins to soften the lead, and they do make the individual frames here begin to sag and twist, and you can see that right down here. This particular one has buckled out like that.
There's a bow right here.
Yeah, and there's one up there. So some of these actually look to be in really, really good shape, that it shouldn't take that much to save these. But
now, while we're here at this window, remember the roof outside of the link structure porch?
Yeah.
Well, there it is. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, and you can see what it's also done to this
Yeah,
wall
absolutely.
right here.
This wall, and now what's done this and what's made this window tilt, if you stare at this window, you'll feel like it's an optical illusion because it's like part of a Dali painting. It's askew. It's not square. It's not plumb. It's tilted.
And it does kind of go like that.
It messes with your head.
Yeah.
So what's doing this is a post and beam building, and with the sill being rotted away and the foundation starting to crumble, the posts here that are attached to the beams up above have gone down. In some cases have gone out. And what's that doing? The plaster can't move with it. The plaster's hard. A post and beam building flexes. So the plaster is breaking away. So what we're going to have to do,
all of this,
go ahead, take some off. Indulge yourself, Kim. There we go.
My favorite thing.
Yeah, I like the duct tape.
Wow.
Right,
Yeah.
right here. That's a classic. So what's going to have to, we're going to have to pull away. There, you get one? I get one too. We're going to have to pull all the plaster off this so that all the posts can be identified where they are.
Right.
And once they're all found, when the company starts to jack the building up, they're going to have to put bracing cables across the church to hold it together. And it's almost a concert. You've got strings, you've got the woodwinds, you've got everything. And they'll have to bring it up very slowly, one post at a time. They put jacks under all the posts, one post at a time, a little bit, tighten up the wires. It's a real symphonic process.
Wow. So this is obviously the worst wall in the entire structure.
Yeah, well, what's it right on?
Yeah,
the courtyard.
Right where all that rot is.
Right.
But I can see
the bottom of this roof.
I can see cracks basically all around where the building itself is stressed.
Right.
But
especially
really,
on the other side.
Yeah,
there,
it's not horrible yet. But
no, it's not.
This is what we were talking about before. If a building like this sits derelict for just a few years without any attention about what's really going on with the building, eventually it gets to a point where you just can't save it. We're kind of at that critical stage with this building right now. If we let it go a few more years, there would be no point. It would be almost beyond repair. So we're kind of getting in just in time.
So let's take just a look around this space. In 2019, remember the Christmas tree?
Yeah.
We had the Homer Center wassailers here. They filled the stage. They used the old organ, and they did a Christmas carol show that was an absolute knockout. You could really feel, I'm getting goose pimples about it. You could really feel what this building was supposed to be. So here's the stage. I mean, I know the altar, it's the stage. And if we pan around this way, got these beautiful, beautiful windows. There's a balcony up there with, I'm amazed that the windows are in such great shape, but they are. And that ladder over there goes to the hatch leading to the attic, which is extremely cool. This chapping, the peeling of paint up on the ceiling gave us a lot of concern until we brought the bucket truck up and saw that all the roofing, including in the bell tower, is new. So that's old water damage.
That was the last resident of this building. One of the first things he did, I was told, was to repair the roof because he already saw this happening.
Sure.
So he saved this group a tremendous amount of money, really, because he saved much more damage that was coming in.
That's right. So where do you want to go next? What do you want to look at?
Well, I had mentioned outside the organ, and I wanted to show everybody the organ.
Yes. You mean the church organ, I hope. Well, he's a dramatic guy.
Really?
You never know, right?
Anyway.
The organ, I had no idea it worked. But we had Ralph Dudgeon here, who's a classical brass player, very well known. He's at Cornell now. He's been at Cortland State.
Yeah.
And Ralph came over here. He played something on the organ, which I can't do. And he said, oh, yeah, all these pipes. He said, these are fake. Yeah, there's a hole in the bottom. See the hole?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're cosmetic.
They're for show. This
The
is
actual
just a divot in the wood.
Right, the actual baffles and everything are behind there, but these were just for the aesthetics of being a church, I guess, which kind of caught me off guard. Good luck putting that back. You break it, you own it.
Well, I already do.
Now, if you are of a certain generation, you will know that that is the theme from Wagon Train, which shows you how old I am. That's
Rowdy
the only thing
Yates.
I know. But
Oh, rawhide, sorry.
did you turn it off?
I did.
Okay. We're going to have somebody that really knows what they're doing with something like this. But the sound is still beautiful on it. The baffles need to be cleaned. I'd mentioned it needed some loving care. That's essentially what it's going to need. Just a good cleaning, some proper tuning. The wood is really in good shape, but that needs to be cleaned as well.
And I don't care if the pipes are fake. They look cool.
Well, they do. They do. If some of the plan down for this space ultimately is a sort of a community theater element, the nice thing is that these can be removed temporarily for something. As all of this stuff can be removed,
Yeah,
everything can be cleaned off this stage.
This is just standing. These are bolted to the floor.
But they pop off.
Yep, bolts. It's lag bolts. They're right
Yeah.
there. These lag bolts, pop, you're out. This window, it's just gorgeous. This is the apse, right?
Sure.
I don't know. It's a crossword puzzle word. So all this will be cleared out. And again, a lot of pretty important antiques are here will be taken for safer storage out of this building
Right.
by their owners, the Landmark Society and some other folks.
Right. Well, and that's what I was mentioning before. A building like this becomes something of a dumping ground. So things get lost, misplaced, forgotten, and then when a group like ours comes in to take this over, is when we suddenly discover all kinds of really neat stuff.
Now, probably the neatest thing back here is the pastor's chair, I guess you'd call it. It's amazing looking. It's as ornate as it gets. And I don't know the age of that. I would love to find out.
Well, I would say, given the construction of it and how it matches everything else, it's got to be within the ballpark of when this church was first built. Ballpark. That doesn't mean it is, but I'm saying if you look at everything else of the carving.
Martin Sweeney could probably.
Oh, our village historian will give us more of an accurate assessment of that.
So there is, for this space, there is a door to the side room there, and I'm not sure, Kim, if that's enough for actors to use for entrances.
Sure.
Okay. So that door leads to a fairly small anteroom or an uncle room. And it's got storage in it now, but it'll be great. We'll put our the amplifier for the sound system and a few other important things that have to be hardwired. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep this open for community theater folks and
Right.
for the musicians who are coming on stage.
And that's one of the hoped for uses of this space is smaller, more intimate musical performances, everything from lectures as well, book signings, readings, that sort of thing. But at the Center for the Arts, which has a seating capacity, I think I mentioned, of about 400, here we're in the ballpark of 180 tops. And that gives a more intimate performance space for some kinds of acts. And the sound acoustics in here are incredible already. We really don't need a whole lot.
Now, on that note, the acoustics, they're made a lot better by this ceiling, which is not the original ceiling. This
Right.
is from, I don't know, but
I was told it was when they
1900?
tore off the first part and rebuilt. That's when they put this in.
So it sounds great, but up above is some really cool stuff to look at in terms of the old ceiling.
Oh,
And
well,
that,
we'll do that another time.
okay,
Not today.
that's pretty wild.
So that's just one big speaker?
And you know, just like the old
What the
Center
hell
for the
is
Arts
that?
speaker, it hung right over people's heads. Yeah, it is just one big speaker, but it's a small room, so I'm sure it's enough.
Okay,
But
that's kind of scary just looking
yeah,
up
that
at it.
won't be that way when we're done.
The funny thing, at the Center for the Arts, one of our performers several years back before we got the sound system dramatically improved in that space, we had 5 giant speakers like that hanging over the heads of all the performers on stage.
Like right about at the spot where
Right about here.
the lead person in a band would sing, where the solo artist would
the
sing.
beautiful singer, wonderful person, Judy Collins, came there to perform, and she was so sweet. She walked out with her guitar, and she stood right there and looked up and went, "Oh my," and she backed up. And she said, "Is it safe to stand there?" But that's all gone and cleaned up now. But that's got to go.
We won't make that same mistake
No.
twice.
But with regard to the Center for the Arts and with regard to this place, we have pews. The Center for the Arts used to have pews. And
They worked.
well, they worked for a while, but after the types of performances in there where people are much more physical and they move around, the pews began to warp and snap and crack. This type of performance venue is not likely to have that issue. We wound up with a wonderful opportunity at the center because we had access to a whole bunch of what would you call
Theater seats from Brown Auditorium at Cortland State.
Right.
And our founder, one of our founders, Dave Yeaman, said, have your truck show up on this day in front of the dumpster, because you can't
Right.
donate those. So we did. Now, Kim and another amazingly dedicated volunteer, Tom Fenda, put all 400 of those seats together and put them in the Center
Yeah.
for the Arts. And we haven't seen Tom Fenda in the building
It's because
since
he
then.
said he'd never come back. This is what you get when you have volunteers. You'd say, "Yeah, come on in," and then they do something. They go,
So,
"All right, I did it. Don't ever call me again."
I want on camera now, for posterity, to say, Kim, when we're ready to put in theater seating here, should that day come?
No way in hell. No way.
You think I should call Tom?
No, Tom will shoot you. No, but for a while, we're going to get nice seats up there in the balcony. This is going to be such a beautiful, intimate performance space that I really can't wait. Aside from just saving the building, I can't wait for the day when we have our first performer in here and something going on, because it's so worth saving it for that reason. But I love the windows and the colors in here. It's just incredible, and I'm colorblind.
And I've got to say, too, the musical performance, sure, the community theater, of course. I taught for 26 years at Homer, and I never liked education meetings. I would always rather be on a field trip or doing something with the kids. But I'm actually looking forward to Homer Central School District's first meeting in this space. I know.
Okay, that's great. But again, that's part of what the cultural center's function is going to be. It's going to be very diverse. It's not just one thing. And as I mentioned in our pilot episode, I'm hoping other communities will take a look at what we're doing here and feel that they've got a building in their community that they can save and maybe do all kinds of different things with, because you just don't throw a building like this away. Look at it, my God, the architecture alone and the beauty of it, you got to save stuff like this, because I've said it before and I will say it through this entire series. Once you destroy something like this, it's gone. You ain't getting it back. So please, if you've got something in your community that is worth saving, like we have, please do it. Maybe learn from us, and let's talk back and forth. We can learn from each other, because we're going to save this, and it's going to be cool. Just to give you a little heads up for next week, is when we're bringing in our village historian. I mentioned his name, Martin Sweeney. Martin is probably one of the most knowledgeable people of our history, and I hope you have someone like that in your community.
There's no probably there. He is.
Okay, then
Yeah.
you've got to have, I hope you have someone like that in your community, so that when you find a building like this, you can get some background on it, and that helps support why you want to save it. You can talk to the people in your town and say, did you know that this building has this history? Martin is going to fill us in on all of that. He's a wonderfully charming guy. I look forward to introducing him to you. So please come back next week. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button and communicate with us in our comment section so that we can talk back and forth about questions that you have. We'll find the people that can answer them for you. And also to let us know what you're doing in your town. All right? Please, let's all stay connected and work together on this, and in your town too.
Snap.
Oh, yeah.
So, Kim, we're going to go and try the front door. Would you take my arm? We're going to go down the aisle.
Oh, it's been screwed. We're not opening it.
We are screwed.
Yeah.